top 10 greatest moments of the Golden State Warriors dynasty. We'll start with number 10. Steph Curry breaking the all-time three-point record. This was 2 years ago at Madison Square Garden. He had his 2,974th three-point shot. That is number 10 on my list, and here's why. So remember exactly where I was, what I was doing when I was watching. I was watching the basketball game. Steph Curry in the 21-22 season was kind of chasing the record. The Warriors started that season red hot. Steph was playing at an MVP level to start, and shooting the lights out of the basketball. But as this Ray Allen record, 2973, started to come closer into view, Steph started to struggle a little bit. He went through a little bit of a slump, and I think a lot of that was he realized, people have been calling Steph the greatest shooter for a decade straight now, and rightfully so. But now that you get to literally have the title, I hit more threes than anybody. I'm the greatest three-point shooter ever. And he's approaching that, and he's kind of struggling a little bit. I remember there was a game in Indiana where he went for the record a couple times. I kind of hope he misses because I want him to break the record in the greatest arena in the world, Madison Square Garden. And it was a great call. Brian Anderson delivered a fantastic call of the shot. All the celebrities there. Spike Lee was there. Ray Allen was in attendance. Reggie Miller, one of the all-time great three-point shooters, was there as well. So you had, at that point in time, 1, 2, and 3 on the three-point shooting list. It was an awesome moment. The Warriors ended up winning the game, which, was a nice cherry on top. But Steph, from a statistical standpoint, officially that night in Madison Square Garden, December 14th, 2021, cemented himself as the single greatest shooter in NBA history. He's hit well over 3,000 threes by this point, and listen, he's going to hit over 4,000. If he plays long enough, is 5,000 within reach? I don't know, but Steph has shattered the record books. Every record from three-point range, he's gotten that, and that is Steph breaking the three-point record, the 10th greatest moment in history of the Warriors dynasty. At number 9, a guy who sadly will probably not be a Warrior ever again, Mr. Klay Thompson. But let's look at a great Klay Thompson moment. I can't believe I'm saying this to this day, 37-point quarter against, ironically, the Sacramento Kings. Klay Thompson's 37-point quarter, 9th on the list of the greatest moments in the history of the Warriors dynasty. Here's why. So, I remember this game. So it was kind of a late January game. The Kings weren't very good. The Warriors were playing great basketball. It was the first year under Steve Kerr. Steph was in the midst of an MVP season, and everything was clicking. It was kind of a sleepy game. Nothing crazy happened. And then this joker goes nuclear in the third quarter. I want to read you Klay Thompson's third quarter stats in that 2015 game against the Sacramento Kings. He went 13 for 13 from the field. He shot 9 threes, hit all of them. It's a far cry from what happened last night, but let's not think about the bad, let's think about the good. Klay Thompson broke the record. I think the previous record was 32 points in a quarter. George Gervin, I think, had the record. Klay Thompson against the Sacramento Kings. 37 for a game is wow, that guy played well. He did that in 12 minutes. His 60-point game and whatever it was, 29 minutes, didn't make the list because this one, I don't think it'll ever be passed. If someone may score over 37 in the quarter, I don't think he'll do it on perfect shooting. 13 for 13 from the field, 9 for 9 from three-point range. One of the all-time greatest, in my opinion, the greatest offensive quarter I've ever seen in my life. I'm not sure if it'll ever be surpassed. Klay Thompson's 37-point quarter in 2015, the 9th greatest moment in the history of the Golden State Warriors franchise. At number 8, I remember this very well, the 3-1 comeback in the Western Conference Finals to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2016. The Warriors' 3-1 comeback over the Thunder, the 8th greatest moment in history of the dynasty, and here's why. So, listen, that was a weird series. The Warriors that year, obviously, 73-9. Steph wins another MVP. They blow through the Rockets. They get challenged a little bit by Portland, but they dust off the Blazers quickly in 5 games. And then they match up against Oklahoma City, who has Kevin Durant in his prime, Russell Westbrook in his prime, a good roster around you, Serge Ibaka, Steven Adams. The Thunder seal Game 1 in Golden State. Warriors take Game 2. And then the Thunder in Games 3 and 4 in Oklahoma City, obliterate the Warriors. If you'd have told somebody who'd never watched basketball, hey, the white team, the Thunder's playing, they won more games than anybody's ever won in a single season. You'd be like, no, they didn't. Boy, they're looking. But Game 5, it's close. Steph closes out the game with a steal, and Kevin Durant hits a layup, yells to the crowd, we're not going home. And then Game 6, the infamous Game 6 Klay, 41 points, 11 three-pointers. Steph Curry chipped in with 30 of his own, hit the dagger shot. Clay hit the go-ahead shot about a minute before that. The Thunder kind of self-imploded. The Warriors won Game 6, and in Game 7, Mr. Curry dropped 36 points and hit the dagger 3 to beat Oklahoma City and win that series 3-1. Now, this moment would have been higher had the Warriors went on to win the championship. We know what happened with another particular 3-1 lead against the Cavs that I don't feel like talking about today. But the Warriors' 3-1 comeback in the Thunder is the 8th greatest moment in history of the Dynasty. The 8th greatest moment, which led to the 7th greatest moment in the Warriors dynasty, which is Kevin Durant signs with the Golden State Warriors in 2016. KD signing with the Warriors, the 7th greatest moment in the history of the Warriors dynasty, and here's why. So again, this is a I remember where I was type of moment for me. So I remember the night before. See, at this point, I just turned, 13 years old? It's hard to believe. I didn't have Twitter, didn't have Instagram, none of that. But I was able to, I followed NBA news. NBA free agency had just started, and I'm still reeling from the Warriors losing the finals to Cleveland. And Kevin Durant is the free agent. He is the guy that everybody, Boston, Washington, the Clippers, everybody's going after. Obviously, the Thunder. And I remember reading an article before I went to bed on July 3rd, 2016, that said the Warriors are a finalist. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I don't think it's going to happen, but maybe, just maybe, KD chooses the Warriors. Wake up the next day. It's July 4th, Independence Day. Go downstairs, or eat breakfast. I go downstairs in the basement, turn on the TV. I think it was Colin Cowherd's show. Turn on the TV. Breaking news, Kevin Durant signed with the Golden State Warriors, and I was just, it was nuts. It was a fantastic moment, because at that point I knew, ain't nobody beating us. You're telling me a champion from 15, an almost champion in 16, and a 73-9 Warriors team just added a guy who prior to that had won 4 scoring championships and an MVP. Yeah, nobody's beating this team. They didn't have to trade for him. None of that. He just signed with them straight up. And Kevin Durant went on to win 2 finals MVPs, 2 championships. And let's be real, had he stayed healthy in 2019, it would have been a three-peat. Kevin Durant signing with the Warriors, the 7th greatest moment in the history of the Warriors franchise. Very impactful in KD, which is mind-boggling to me. Still, it's people still holding against him for making a decision that was the best interest of him, basketball-wise and business-wise. Kevin Durant to the Warriors at number 7. At number 6, Steph Curry's back-to-back league MVPs. Steph Curry's back-to-back league MVPs, the 6th best moment, or moments rather, in the history of the Warriors franchise, and here's why. So, Steph joined a very short list of guys who won back-to-back MVPs. Think about guys recently, such as Jokic, such as Giannis Antetokounmpo. LeBron's done it. Wilt, I don't know if Wilt did it. Kareem did it. Moses Malone, most underrated player ever, did it. Michael Jordan. All the greats have gone back-to-back. Steph became one of those in 2016. 2015's MVP, he hit 286 three-point shots, which was a record. He broke his own record in doing so, led a 67-win Warriors team to the championship. To this point, he's the most recent MVP to win a championship in that same season. We'll see if Jokic or Shea or Luka, whoever wins this year, is able to do that. 2016 might have been the greatest offensive season we've ever seen. Be it Kobe's 37-point per game year, or 35, 37-point per game year, any of James Harden's years, Jordan's 88, 89 season. No matter how you slice it, the 2016 Steph Curry season was unreal. So I just said he hit 286 threes in 15, which was a record. In 2016, the record's 286. Stephen Curry hit 402 three-pointers. He broke his own record by 100, shattered his own record by 116 three-point shots made. Again, 400 is still yet to be surpassed. That record still stands today, and Steph is, again, continuing his assault on the three-point record books. Steph averaged 30 a game as a guard on 50, 40, 90 shooting, led the league in steals. It's one of the great offensive seasons we've ever seen in our lives. The back-to-back MVP stretch, certainly one of the pinnacles of Steph's career. Not many guys have won 2 MVPs. He's one of them. He's certainly one of the all-time greats and one of the 10 greatest, to me, undeniably, to ever play in the history of basketball. Steph's back-to-back MVPs, the 6th greatest moment in history of the Warriors franchise. Moving into the top 5, some may be surprised at how high this is, but I still hold it near and dear to my heart. The Golden State Warriors in 2015-16 going 73-9. 73-9, the 5th greatest moment in the history of the Warriors franchise, and here's why. So the Warriors were the best offensive team that year, best defensive team, no surprise there. Again, I understand people try to poo-poo it because they ended up losing the finals to Cleveland. Totally get that. But I'm not going to say this is DiMaggio's hitting streak unbreakable. I'm not going to say this is Jerry Rice's receiving records unbeatable. I'm sorry. I don't think in my lifetime I will ever see a team go 74-8. I don't see it. In today's modern NBA, and we'll see, maybe it evolves and changes. Maybe there won't even be 82 games at some point in my lifetime. I do not see a team winning 74 games in an 82-game season. It's 73 is nuts. Steve Kerr, who ironically played for the 72-10 Bulls in 1996 and coached the 2015-16 Warriors, which won 73 games. He said after 96, he's like, nobody's getting 72. 20 years later, almost exactly, the team he coaches gets to 73. Again, in today's modern NBA, load management, the whole bit, I do not see a team getting to 74 wins. To go, again, just it's still mind-boggling. We know what Steph did. Draymond should have been Defensive Player of the Year that year. Clay was an all-star. Iguodala was great. The roster was well put together and well coached. How you go an entire 82-game season and you don't lose double-digit games? It is... we'll never see it again. I'm sorry. We will see anybody get 73. Dang sure won't see anybody get to 74. That is the commitment you got to put to that. And one could argue that the Warriors going for that record may have taken sapped a little bit of the energy out of them for the playoffs. It's not an excuse, but Andre Iguodala said in his book, which is literally right behind me right here, The Sixth Man, that he and the Warriors kind of regret at times going after 73-9, but it's still an unbeatable record, so it makes the top 5. 73-9, the 5th greatest moment in the history of the Warriors. At number 4, we move into ring time. The 2018 championship, Golden State in 2018 going back-to-back against the Cleveland Cavaliers and winning this ring right here. Do we have it? Oh, my goodness. That was anticlimactic right there. This ring against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Golden State sweeping Cleveland, beating the Cavs for the 3rd time in 4 years. Listen, that 2018 title was the weirdest of the 4 championships because that year, you're coming off a 2017 title, Steph in his prime, Clay in his prime, Draymond in his prime, and obviously KD in his prime, Iguodala the whole bit, Steve Kerr coaching the squad. The Warriors won 57 games that year, and it felt like nothing but locker room turmoil. David West, who was a veteran on that team, retired after that championship, said, hey, y'all don't know what happened behind the scenes. And it's like, what went on? Well, we'll see. Maybe someday we'll know, but in first round, gentlemen swept the Spurs. Second round, gentlemen swept the Pelicans and Anthony Davis. The third round, you're taking a Rockets team that isn't close to as talented as you are, but has you down 3-2. But Game 6, Clay shows up in Game 6. Warriors blow him out. Game 7, Steph almost has a triple-double. KD plays well, and the Warriors knock out the Rockets and go on to sweep the Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA Finals to get 3 championships in 4 years. It was the title that officially cemented this Warriors team as a dynasty. The 2018 NBA Championship, the 4th greatest moment in history of the Golden State Warriors dynasty. At number 3, I call this the revenge title. The Warriors winning the Finals in 2017, beating the Cleveland Cavaliers 4-1 and winning this ring. I got all 4 of them, folks. 2017 title at number 3. So that team, until we see someone else down the road, undeniably the greatest basketball team ever assembled in the history of basketball, okay? So you got a prime Steph Curry, 2-time league MVP. Prime Kevin Durant, 1-time league MVP, 4-time scoring champion. Klay Thompson, multi-time All-Star. Draymond Green, 1 defensive player of the year that season, multi-time All-Star. One of the greatest 6th-man we've seen and a future Hall of Famer. Andre Iguodala, Hall of Fame head coach Steve Kerr. Golden State Warriors that year won 67 games. It's not 73, but I'll tell you what they did do. They swept the first round. They swept the second round. They swept the Western Conference Finals. And against the team that beat them in the finals, the Cavs, with LeBron averaging a triple-double in the finals, Golden State gentlemen sweeps the Cavs en route to an NBA championship in 2017 as the revenge title because Cleveland did get Golden State. In 2016, KD won his first Finals MVP, put together an awesome series statistically. It's the most efficient basketball Kevin has ever played, and he's a very efficient basketball player. Again, the 96 Bulls, people talk about, the Bulls never saw Game 7. The Warriors never saw a Game 6 and saw 1 Game 5. To me, the only team that could have taken that Warriors team in a 7-game series, 0-1 Lakers with Shaq and Kobe. That team was just as dominant, could have given the Warriors problems. 96 Bulls, get out of here. 81 Sixers, get out of here. The 69 Lakers, get out of here. Couldn't have taken that Warriors team. 2013 Heat, get out of here. 16-1 in the playoffs and a dominant postseason run to a championship. The Warriors' 2017 title, the third greatest moment in the history of the dynasty. At number 2, they say there's no time like your first time. The Warriors winning in 2015, the first championship. Look at Steph and Clay there. They look like little kids. It's crazy how fast time flies. Warriors' 2015 title is the second greatest moment in the history of the dynasty, and here's why. By the way, they won this ring right here, okay? Here's why. So, again, I became a Warriors fan in 2013 because I saw this little 6'3" guy by the name of Steph Curry dominating the Denver Nuggets in round 1. And 2014, they lose in the first round to the Clippers. They fire Mark Jackson. Like, huh? You fire Mark Jackson after a 51-win season and you almost go to the second round for the second year in a row in a franchise in Golden State that has been a joke for 20 years, or really for 40 years outside of Run TMZ in the early 90s. And the Warriors go on to win 67 games. Steph wins MVP. They sweep the Pelicans in the first round. They get pushed a little bit by the Grizzlies, the grit and grind Grizzlies, the actual good Grizzlies, in the second round, but they're able to win that series in 6. Gentlemen sweep the Rockets in the conference finals, down 2-1 to the undermanned Cavs, but they get it right. Kerr inserts Iguodala into the starting lineup. He didn't lock down LeBron, contrary to popular belief. LeBron still averaged like 34, 14, and 9 in that series. Nonetheless, Iguodala did play well, as did Steph, who should have won Finals MVP. Iguodala got it, and the Warriors won their first championship in 4 decades as a franchise. It was a phenomenal night, phenomenal moment. Shocker, shocker, they did beat, you guessed it, the Cleveland Cavaliers in order to get that. And just a great moment, great night. And it was the first of many championships to come for the Golden State Warriors. Again, they say there's no time like doing it for the first time, and the Warriors did that for the first time in 2015. The Warriors' 2015 title, the second greatest moment in the history of the franchise, and that leaves only one, and it should be obvious by now. Number 1 moment in the history of the Warriors franchise, or the history dynasty. The 2022 We're Not Done Yet championship is the greatest moment in the history of the Warriors dynasty when they won this ring, this big gold massive ring right here. So listen, that was listen, I'm 20 years old. I'm a new Steelers fan, lifelong Warriors, Red Sox, and Tennessee Vols sports fan. In my 20 years, going on 21 years of life that the good Lord has given me, that was the greatest night in my sports rooting life, and it's not even close. To be able to be in that situation where 2019, the Warriors lose the finals to Toronto. KD leaves in free agency. Clay, in that game that they lost to Toronto, tears his ACL. Draymond gets extended, okay. Then you have 2019-20. Steph breaks his hand, the team sucks. It's the worst record in the league. The next year, you're like, oh, okay, here we go. We're about to revamp, and Clay tears his Achilles and misses the entire season. You're like, you got to be kidding me. Steph has a great year, but the Warriors lose in the play-in tournament. It's kind of a similar situation now, although somewhat different due to the ages of the players. And all the media, dynasty over. We'll never see this again. Steph Curry, Kendrick Perkins, infamously, the 0 championships. They end up winning 53 games. The gentlemen sweep the Nuggets, take out the fraudulent Grizzlies in 6. Gentlemen sweep the Mavericks, who are on fire, and face a, admittedly, more talented Boston Celtics team, and Steph Curry goes berserk in that series. Clay hit big shots throughout. Draymond was great in Game 6 to close out, and Steph Curry infamously in Game 6 pointed to the ring finger, and that was that. Steph Curry visibly emotional after the game, and the Warriors were able to get the job done in 6 against the Boston Celtics. The 2022 title, man, that feels like an eternity ago now. The greatest moment in the history of the Golden State Warriors dynasty. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.